God, I love this wheel. It looks so good. It looks so good. Every time I get in the car, I'm just like, oh, yes. Yo, what is happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video with your boy Thick Whips. Today we are handling something that I've been looking forward to handling on the F30 for quite a while. This thing is unprotected. We've been running around out here raw dogging it.
Hey, yo!
It's just not safe. If you guys live anywhere near Charlotte, then you know that 485 has been under construction for as long as I can remember. And while I'm really happy that they're redoing those roads, the construction has been absolutely terrible. And it's just been destroying cars left and right. 485 is right in my backyard. It's literally the freeway that we take to pretty much everywhere. And you guys also know that we're taking this car down to BMW Invasion, and we will be doing so within the next month. We got about an 8.5 hour drive ahead of us with the 340. I'm telling you right now, I'm not doing that without no PPF on this car, man. You got to get these things protected. All my cars, every single car I ever build on the channel, they all get paint correction, they all get PPF, and they all get ceramic coating. And that is something that I sort of held off with the 340 because I wanted to wait until I got, obviously, the GTS hood on there and let that paint properly cure. So now it's time. Now it's time to finally get all that taken care of. So we are going to head over to Parks Detailing, which is here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Nick Parks is a good friend of mine. He owns Parks Detailing as well as Parks Car Care, where they sell a lot of the products that they use from the detailing shop. But aside from the detailing, he also does PPF and he also does ceramic coating. Really, really high level of work. Really, really nice cars that he takes care of. Nick also has a very, very interesting build. It is an E30 M3 with an S54 in it that I do plan on reviewing for you guys at some point. It was built by CES Motorsport. The thing is just a monster. You guys have to see it at some point. But yes, so Nick's team is going to be taking care of the baby. It's going to get her ready for the road, and we're going to get this thing. I mean, the paint is pretty rough. I'm not going to lie. There's a lot of swirl marks on this thing. I don't think it really was ever properly taken care of. Like, I did a pretty good job cleaning it up and getting it to the point where it's at, but I'm no professional by any means. And honestly, I like to just focus on the things that I am good at, so I like to take the car to the people who are the professionals. Nick also did some work on the SUPRA and did just an incredible job. So I knew right away that he would be the guy that I would take the 340 to. We are on our way to Parks Detailing. I'm going to have their stuff linked down below if you're interested. If you are local in Charlotte, North Carolina, make sure you check them out. They're rather well known around here for being one of the higher end detailing shops here in Charlotte, North Carolina. But let's get this thing over to the shop, man. She's gonna look so good when she's done. It's gonna be there for about 3 days. So they are going through the car like meticulously. I am really looking forward to it. With the trip coming up to BMW Invasion, that will basically be the break-in mileage trip. At the end of that, we'll be well past 1,000 miles on this motor and turbo, and we can begin to actually tune and get into some fun stuff with this car. I'm keeping things relatively chill up until that point, not really doing any crazy power mods, obviously. But once we get past that breaking point, baby, it's time to turn her up and see what she's capable of. Lots more stuff in the book for this car. We got more parts coming, more things changing. Man, it's gonna be good. All right, we got the boys over at Parks Detailing doing the prep work. She desperately needed a wash. I don't think I've washed. I think I've washed this thing once since we put a new engine in it, so it was definitely due for a new one. I was actually paying attention to the car and the height of it, and it looks like the front needs to come down like 1/4 of an inch. We're about 26.5 up front from fender to ground, and then fender to ground in the back is about 26. When they put it inside on the little lift, I'm gonna actually just drop it a little bit. So they're doing a little bit of the decontamination. This is Quinn right here, their marketing guy. He's doing all the video stuff. You guys are gonna see some videos from him in the future. But they're just doing all the decon work and the pre-wash work, and then they'll pull it inside, and we'll get to some of the work that needs to be done on the car. That way, just a little bit more. Yeah, All right, guys, we are at Parks Detailing here in Charlotte, North Carolina. We got the 340 in the shop, and it looks really great under all of these lights, but don't be fooled. This car actually does need quite a bit of work, and I know you guys see it online, and you're like, oh my God, it's so flawless, but in person, there's actually quite a bit of swirls on this car. So I got Nick Parks over here. He's the owner of Parks Detailing, and he's gonna give us a little bit of a rundown as to what he thinks this car needs to be a little bit better, and just kind of the plans to protect this car and make it so much easier to wash. All my other cars have been ceramic coated. This one is not, and washing this car takes so long. If you've never done ceramic coating before, just do it. Trust me, it makes a huge difference. Nick, welcome to the channel. We've heard about you before. We've seen your cars on the channel at CES. We work with a lot of the same people. But talk to me a little bit about what you think this car is gonna need to get it to the point BMW Invasion, the car show. So we wanna make this really good. What do you think this needs?
So what we're going to be doing to your car is a very common package. We do it to a lot of our clients' vehicles. We're going to be wrapping the front of the vehicle with S-Tech Dyno Shield paint protection film. So we've prepped the car, we've washed it. We'll go into that a little bit later, more as to the products we use and the techniques and tools to get that done. Morgan is starting to tape off some of the more sensitive areas. For the front of the car, we're actually going to be just polishing it. There's a lot of different mindsets around how perfect should you get the paint before putting PPF on, and there is no right answer to that. You can actually just decon the car, clay it, and wrap over it. There's nothing wrong with that. We like to do a light polish just to make sure the paint is 100% clean. That being said, we are not too focused on getting the paint flawless prior to wrapping it. The film is actually going to hide a lot of the defects. You would have to have some pretty substantial defects in the paint to show through the film. So it has a very strong filtering capability. It'll actually even hide sanding scratches. So we don't really like that mentality of, oh, well, it'll hide it, don't worry about it. Bother, yeah. But the reality is there's only so much paint on the car. So
that's true.
You could go as far as perfecting the paint. We've done that before. We've actually done a 458 where we wet sanded the whole entire car, got the paint flawless, and then wrapped the front of the car. It's what's appropriate for the car.
Right.
Like, you're going to be daily driving
for this
car.
It's probably overkill.
It is.
To be honest.
And
yeah.
At some point in time, the film is a very long-term product, but it's going to come off the car. And when it does, we're going to have to clean the car again, reapply the film, and we'll probably polish again. So if it's something that you're going to be taking the film off in a few years from now and having to redo that process, it's just my philosophy and our philosophy here that getting the paint 100% flawless before wrapping it is not totally necessary and not maybe the best thing for the car, because every time you do that process, you're taking a little bit of paint off.
Yep.
So a little bit of clear coat's coming off. From the doors back, we're going to be doing a two-step correction. So we're going to get the paint within reason, as perfect as we can. We've inspected the car a little bit, and there's definitely some areas that might require some light wet sanding, like 3000 grit, possibly 2000 grit. But being that most of this car, I think you said the bumper and the hood have been painted, but the rest of the car is original paint. So again, we're gonna strive for the best results possible, but we're not going for a show car finish, wet sand out every single defect. You can kind of go down the rabbit hole a little bit as a detailer and start chasing things with lights, and it's at the end of the day, you know, are you really going to see it outside in the sun? But it's going to be a huge transformation. I mean, you can see the paint is pretty hammered.
So you guys can see right here, kind of looks like a bunch of little spider webs or like cobwebs. Those are all swirls in the paint. Honestly, most people wouldn't notice it, but under the lights, you can see it.
This is pretty obvious. These are notoriously bad for, I mean, they're incredibly easy to scratch. So we're actually going to be wrapping these in PPF because they just, you can polish them, ceramic coat them after a few washes. It's not going to look this bad, but they're going to be back. So we're going to wrap those.
And they're just plastic.
Yep, it's that soft piano black.
So here you can really see it. There you go. Look at those.
It's one of those things that once you see it, it's hard to unsee.
It's hard to unsee. Yeah, it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough.
So we're going to two-step it. The glass actually has some water spots. I noticed them more on the driver's side. I don't know if you can find any on this side, but the glass isn't perfect. So we are going to polish the glass as well, because we're going to be ceramic coating your glass, which the benefits of that are pretty obvious. It sheds water in the rain, makes it much easier to wash, get bugs off the windshield, things like that. So yeah, we're going to be two-stepping the car, putting PPF on the front end of the car, ceramic coating the glass, polishing the glass prior to the ceramic coating, and then we're going to put a ceramic coating on the paint as well and kind of walk you guys through how we do some of those things and the techniques and the tools and the products that are used for that. We actually have a whole separate side of the business where we sell pretty much everything that we use, with the exception of some of the pro-only products like the film, a couple of the paint coatings, but everything that we're going to be using on Jonathan's car, less the paint protection film, is going to be products that we sell.
They are using the S-Tech on the entire front end of the car. If you guys remember, I actually had the SUPRA, I had the hood redone here, and they used the same product, and it was unreal how glossy it is. So what is the advantage of using the S-Tech product versus, you know, say Expel or any other product you'd find out there?
Yeah, so I mean, I go through this explanation a lot with customers who call in, and the films have all come a long ways over the years. They've all gotten better. What I tell people is, first and foremost, it's the installer, right? It's like painting a car. You know, you can use the best paint materials, you can use not as good materials. The prep and the processes are going to have the biggest impact on the end result. That being said, the material does make a difference. I've used a lot of different films over the years. It's been about 7 or 8 years that I've been wrapping cars with PPF now, and for us, the way that we wrap cars, we do a lot of bulk installations. We really like the way the film stretches. We also like the clarity of the film, especially on like dark colored vehicles. Like we have this 812 back here that we wrapped.
Right, yeah.
Joe's working on this 488 here, which is a dark blue color. And we've noticed that the orange peel and the gloss, the differences between the panels that have been wrapped and the panels that have not been wrapped, it's virtually undetectable. That's a big plus for us. I was a detailer before I got into PPF, so those little differences, I notice them, our customers notice them, and they appreciate that clarity and gloss that it brings. And the anti-yellowing, the anti-staining, they have a proprietary top coat in their film, so I've found that I don't have as many issues when it comes to the wearing of the film. I mean, all TPU, thermoplastic urethane, which is what these films are made out of, it's all going to wear, it's all going to weather and age over time, but we have found that this particular film for us just works the best. So their film has integrated in that top coat, it has actually SiO2 in it. A lot of the films, from my understanding, the SiO2 is kind of applied after the manufacturing, as to where the S-Tech film, it's built into the top coat. That being said, it is going to deteriorate over time, just like a ceramic coating would. Right. They actually came out with a ceramic coating. It's professional use only, and we're the distributors of that product. So we're going to be putting that on the film on the front of your car, which is going to extend the life of that hydrophobic property. That coating can also be put on paint and glass. I'm not sure we're going to be doing that on your car, because we're going to use some consumer grade products for yours, so that some of your followers, if they choose to do so, can learn about those products and buy them. The S-Tech coating right now is for pros only, but it does have hydrophobic properties, and we've seen, even on the cars that we've put the film on and not coated over it, if you take care of it, it will last quite a long time.
Parks Detailing is it's kind of like a two-part business. You also have Parks Car Care, which is carrying the actual products that these guys sell. They sell what they actually use on a lot of these cars too. Should we go take a look at some of the other products that you have? Cool. The 340 is going to be done in like 3 days. We're going to come back and pick it up, but we're going to mostly let these guys just do their job and work on it, so when we get to see it, it's fresh eyes, we get to be blown away by the product. So, Parks Car Care. Lots of products here, lots of different stuff. What products do you see people using the most? What do you sell the most of?
So right now, hands down, we sell the most of NV Car Care. So that there's a few brands that we carry that are specific to us, meaning we're the U.S. distributor for them. One of them is NV. They're an Australian-based coating brand. So that's this is the coating that we're going to be using on your car, on the paint, the non-filmed panels. This is a consumer grade coating. It's available to anyone who wants to purchase it online, and it's very robust, super durable, and it'll actually hold its own against some of the pro coatings out there from what we've seen. So out of all the lines we carry right now, this is what's selling the most. We're also the U.S. distributor for S-Tech. They have a full chemical range, which is actually quite unique. To my knowledge, there's not any other PPF brands that have a full chemical range. So it's all the exterior and interior cleaners that you would need to detail your car, including the ceramic coating that I mentioned earlier. So that coating can be used on film, paint, glass, and wheels, and it's a professional use product.
Okay.
We are testing a consumer grade coating that we've put on one of our team members' cars from S-Tech that will be available probably later this year for consumer purchase.
I've actually talked about some of the products that he sells here, and one of them specifically is this shampoo. So when Nick and I first started working together on the Supra, he told me to try some of this shampoo, and I have not stopped using it. I've actually come back and bought, I bought multiple bottles of it multiple times. This stuff is amazing. You have to at least give this a shot and try it out. There's like a slickness that this shampoo leaves, and it's unreal. But it really, if you have your car already ceramic coated and you're using this, it just feels like they kind of feed off of one another, you know, and it just even makes it more hydrophobic. So this stuff is awesome. Check it out. I'll actually have a bunch of his products linked down below if you guys want to check them out, and as well as his website. And you guys can, feel free to go on there and cruise through it. And if you're local in Charlotte, North Carolina, feel free to come by and use him as for his services. I've already referred a few people to you, and they've all been really happy with the job that they do here. So
detailing and PPF, that's really our specialty, and now the products as well. That's been a thing for a few years, and it's really picking up. So we sell to other detailers, other professionals, and a lot of consumers. So a lot of people who have either gone to other shops, had it done, and they want to learn how to maintain the car, or we also have a lot of customers that ceramic coat their cars at home, and they look to us for guidance. And we actually just made a hire for a marketing position, so Quinn's here with us now, and we're going to be making a lot of videos on how-tos. We've gotten a lot of demand for that.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Teaching you guys how we do some of these processes here.
So we're actually going to let Quinn and Nick, kind of film some of the work over the next 3 days here while they take care of the car. And what we're going to do is I'm going to come back in 3 days and see the car and kind of show you guys my reaction and what I think about the work that they did, and obviously show you guys the work that they did. Below, I'll link the video of them doing the actual work. So if you want to get nerdy with it and see the entire process, feel free to do that with from their channel down below. But I think we'll see you in 3 days. And
awesome, man.
Good luck.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of work. Yeah, you really do. I'm excited to see it, though. So we'll resume this video in 3 days when we come back to pick up the car.